Is a hot hand there. All right. There it is.
All right. Without further ado, DemDash.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenifer. This is my co-founder and husband, Jenifer. And we're here to show you DemDash, which is a social channel for politics. So to get started, we're going to go back in time to before the last election. And I, think voting is important, and I always want to do my civic duty, like you, I'm sure. But it can be really daunting. There's a lot of information to sort through. And here's where most of us start, right? Like this is the stack of mail that we got for the last election. It's very confusing. It doesn't make sense. So I'm looking at this mail and I'm thinking, how am I ever going to sort through this? So I decide to procrastinate and look at Facebook. So I look at Facebook, and I'm in luck because somebody shared a DemDash slate on one of my friends. So I click the link, and this takes me to DemDash. And this is a basic slate, so I'm thinking this is really cool. I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing all the candidates, all of ballot measures, all the way down to judges. This is something that I really need. So I sign up and I get to the civic profile page. This is another thing that I really need. It tells me everybody who represents me from the president all the way down to my local city councilman and what precinct I'm in, which is something I've always wanted to know. But I go back to the election, which is my focus, and I've added some groups that I trust and some friends who I know are good about politics, that I see what they think about the things on the ballot. Then I basically start voting, and I'm going down my absentee ballot, and I get to this Proposition 26, and I'm like, what is Prop 26? I have no idea. I can't figure it out. I'm reading the incomprehensible ballot argument, sifting through the mail. So instead of that, I just click on the link in DemDash, and it takes me to this page, which will show me very quickly what my community thinks about this. And it's clear very quickly people aren't in favor of this. And then I can read what some organizations or other people have written, and it actually makes sense. And so I go from not knowing what I think at all to being like, okay, I kind of get this is a no. That was pretty easy. Then I go to the local measures, and I see something that I actually know about, and I've heard in the news, and I have an opinion about it. So I get to do my little rant about this ballot measure and post it, and then people who are looking at that ballot measure can also see, what I've said, and this feels very empowering. Like I'm actually participating in this process in a kind of social and open way. So what was a kind of laborious, kind of unpleasant, and usually very solitary activity is becoming social, easy, and actually pretty fun. So then, for between elections, when there's not an election going on, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to try to make your online political activism also easier and more effective. We're also going to connect your activism with elections so that when the election comes around again, you're not starting from scratch. You've actually been a little bit more engaged and kind of know what's going on. So how this will work, first, this is how most of us engage with activism online, right? It's a lot of email. We get millions of these emails. We have to fill out our information every single time. It's kind of scattered across the web. So we're going to consolidate all of this on DemDash. And we'll be able to take actions with just one click. And all of this will be kind of logged in the system, and it's building a record of your political interest and activism. And then over time, you'll also we'll link these actions with news feeds of your representative. So you voted for Jerry Brown in the last election for governor, you can kind of follow what he's doing, so then when he's up for re-election, you won't be starting from scratch, and you'll kind of have a little bit more information. So the goal is for DemDash to be this kind of socially curated one-stop shop for political information, kind of everything from where to vote to who represents you to what kind of issues you support. So why is this a big deal? One, small actions at a big scale can make big change. We saw this really on the Obama campaign, but nothing has since replicated that for the rest of the system, that model. Secondly, it's a $4.2 billion market in political communications. It's all being spent on TV ads that fewer and fewer people are watching, and the mail that you saw before that's kind of piling up all over America. And then only about 100 million of that right now is going to online. And so that's a market that really needs disruption. So if you're thinking that DemDash needs to win, here's how you can help. Sign up at demdash.us, tell us what you think, and let us know if there's anyone else we should talk to. Thanks a lot.